as you look forward now, what do you think you guys need to cross the threshold?
Figure out a way to be consistent. I think we had enough. I think we do have enough. It sucks because, like, you don't know who's going to be on a roster any given year. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm just grateful for the opportunity to play with the guys that I did have the opportunity to play with. And it's been like that every year that I've played in the league. So we had enough. Next year, we will have enough. And we're going to be right back in the same situation. And we're going to get it done.
You know, this reminded me a lot of what Steph Curry said in 2021 after they lost against the Lakers, or I believe they lost against the Grizzlies. They lost against the Lakers, then they lost against the Grizzlies in the play-in. And he said that, you know, they ain't going to want to see us next year. We'll be back here or something like that. Just giving you that predictive programming aspect. You know, before that, you had the Phoenix Suns where they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks, and in the State Farm commercial before that, you know, the deer came in the garage of Chris Paul and tore everything up, representing Phoenix Suns losing to the Milwaukee Bucks. Following year, you know, you have the Golden State Warriors win based off of the predictive programming aspect of a Steph Curry at the press conference. So, you know, will the Miami Heat win it this year based off of this? You know, we'll see. But they're going to be in the NBA Finals, so you know that's already checked off in regards to it being at least 80 to 90% true when it comes to the predictive element. Now, when they win the championship, that's when it's set in stone. This is a form of predictive programming. You know, the predictive programming element is always strong. It's always strong. Miami Heat most likely go to the NBA Finals and win it against the Joker. Speaking of the Joker, Jimmy Butler wears the number 22. We already know the 22 in tarot represents the jokester, the clown god. Michael Jordan and Jimmy Butler share resemblance. We already understand 2023 is the year of Jordan. 4/5/23. You had the movie that came out with the Nike deal. 2/3/23. That was Jordan Day. The color red, which is a motif of 2023, is prominent this year, especially when it comes to the blood rituals, the sacrificial element, the lust element of this year, 2023. Rihanna, she wore red at the Super Bowl. The Chiefs, they won the Super Bowl. They wear the color red. So it makes sense that you see Miami Heat on the run that they're on, as well as the connection to Michael Jordan between Jimmy Butler and Michael Jordan. The resemblance, you see this image here, that's Photoshop. It's like a splitting image, look just like Michael Jordan. So there's a connection there, and I won't be surprised if there's some sort of relation between Jimmy Butler and Michael Jordan. This year represents Michael Jordan as well as the color red and the bull. That's why the number 6 was prominent this year. 6/6 represents the bull. You saw 6/6 everywhere when it comes to the jerseys and the courts. So the basketball courts. So the year 2023, you know, all the connections are there, and you know, it makes sense. Even before this year, I said 2023 is going to be a year for Jordan. It's going to represent Jordan in some sort of way, especially when it comes to the NBA. We already know about the movies and whatnot that came out this year, but especially when it comes to the NBA, it's going to represent Jordan in some way. And lo and behold, you have Jimmy Butler, who everybody suspects is in some relation to Michael Jordan. It makes sense that he's on this run. The quote-unquote illegitimate son of Michael Jordan, Jimmy Butler. Like I said, he wears the number 22. He'll most likely be going against the Joker. The number 22 represents the jokester. Also with the understanding of Michael Jordan and Jimmy Butler both being drafted by the Chicago Bulls. He wore number 21. Then he wore number 23. Now he wears number 22. 1 + 2 = 3. So the understanding is there, as well as, you know, the correlations. The number 3 being prominent this year as well when it comes to that storyline that kicked off the year with DeMar Hamlin and the number 3 associated with him, as well as it being a motif this year with many different correlations. And then you have both these teams being up 3-0 against their opponents in the conference finals, most likely a sweep. And if they don't, then, you know, You never know what the fuck may happen, but this video right here just represents another installment of the 2023 NBA Finals, in which I pose the question: is this what we will see? Most likely, we will. Denver versus Miami, and I'm sure it'll be a great series, despite what people may think, because you don't have those big names. Joker, he's a big name, so you still gonna have that aspect there, but Joker is not that flashy star that people compare to LeBron James or Jason Tatum or Steph Curry and whatnot. But still, it'll still be an exciting matchup between the Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat. If we get that, you never know what the fuck may happen, but we most likely will get that. And like I said, you have these connections, the red being prominent even before this year kicked off. You had an artist by the name of Westside Gunn, who many people may not know of, but he means a lot to the entertainment industry, especially esoterically. Like, you have a lot of artists, a lot of celebrities who may be looked at as like nobodies, or like people don't really know of them, but behind the scenes, behind the curtains, they're prominent, they're big time, because of what they're aligned with and what they what they choose to do, what they're willing to do. And you could tell that a guy like Westside Gunn is willing to do anything. And he had a song on his album that came out before 2022 ended, like right around the bottom of 2022, around like November, October or so. He had a song called Red Death. And the song Red Death, to me, I believe that was a form of a predictive element when it comes to the vibration of 2023. And we already know 2023, it represents Skull and Bones as well, if you guys didn't know, because it's been 322 years since the inception of Skull and Bones, going back to Yale University, 322 years since. So all these factors, they have meaning when it comes to these connections. The color red representing death, Skull and Bones represents death. And also, when we first kicked off 2023, there was news of certain deaths that were highlighted to a degree, like Gangsta Boo, when Gangsta Boo, she first passed away January 1st, and other deaths. But that's the one that I could think of that pops in my head. But yeah, man, 2023 represents the color red. It also represents the understanding of Skull and Bones when it comes to death, the red death aspect. And even with that song, going back to that song, like, that song featured all of the Griselda members with the exception of Bodie James. And Bodie James, after, that album dropped or what have you, he got into a car accident. Now, we already know car accidents, they're common in the entertainment industry when it comes to the sacrificial element, because they're the least conspicuous. People don't really question them that much. But, on the surface, Bodie James is fine. But I believe that there could be some sort of nefarious aspect to that when it comes to the sacrificial element. Shit, he could have been replaced and just cloned. Or it still could just be him and that was an attempt at his life. But not to digress, even though I'm not necessarily digressing, because it's in connection with the color red and the understanding of the vibration with Red Death 2023. So you'll most likely see the Miami Heat in the NBA Finals, and they'll most likely win it. And if they do win it, that's what I'll think of, the color red. And in the beginning, you saw the predictive programming aspect. It reminded me of Steph Curry from 2021. It's the same thing where he said that, they're going to see, what he said, something like they're going to see us again or some shit like that. It's the same thing with Jimmy Butler. Give you the predictive programming aspect of what's going to take place the following year. He said that in 2022, it's 2023, and they'll most likely be in the NBA Finals. He said they're going to get it done. So if they get it done, then the predictive programming aspect is there 100%. Kind of remind me of Steph Curry, as well as, 2021, where you had the Chris Paul commercial, State Farm commercial with a deer, came in the garage and started tearing up everything in Chris Paul garage, representing the Bucks beating the Phoenix Suns in the NBA Finals. And then before that, with the Kobe Bryant theme. So every year you have some sort of predictive, esoteric, Luciferian connection to who's going to win the NBA Finals every year. Or at least for the past 6-7 years. Because sometimes it just happens that, an NBA team won the championship and there's nothing there. But for the most part, you always have these connections.
for the Bulls. 21, I think is a wrap for me. That was just like my Chicago days. I'll never wear 21 again. You can't wear 23 here because of MJ. Literally, Pat Riley retired it. But I will say this. Whenever I did come here, Pat told me that I could wear 23, but I said, so 22 it is. 22 it is.